Hi,
How are you?
good. How are you doing? Excuse me.
Very good.
Thank you so much for being able to. I won't keep you more than 10, 15 minutes, I promise, unless you need more time. So we've got two of our TAs on right now. If the other two can't make it, I totally understand. This is such short notice. So thank you both for being able to be here. Before we even get started, I'll introduce myself if you don't mind. We can maybe just quickly intro each other and just talk about the upcoming class here. So my name is Taryn, and first and foremost, I'm recording the video now. So in the interest of the other TAs that can't make it, we'll have the video out. And I don't normally sound this raspy. I'm overcoming a severe case of bronchitis. I'm going to be very transparent and full open with you. I spent all day in the urgent care yesterday on antibiotics, IV fluids, oxygen. And so I'm finally just now making it back home and trying to jump into preparing for this. So I'm out here in Atlanta, Georgia. First time teaching for campus, though. I've been teaching for many years, and I run my own personal training business here in Atlanta, Georgia. I've trained thousands of clients over the last 25 years. I've taught hundreds of students, including three or four other universities, and two of which I still work for as well in doctoral studies, general psychology. So I'll go ahead and be quiet, and I'll just go in order of alphabetical here, according to first name Abigail Christopher. Abigail, I'll let you take it away.
Well, I hope you feel better soon. That does not sound fun. I'm Abby. I have been working with campus for this will be my fifth quarter, so about a year. This is my first quarter teaching, like I'm actually teaching an English course and this business course. So it's my first time kind of going back and forth between the two. I've been teaching and TAing for about 8 years now. During the day, I'm actually a fourth grade teacher, so it's kind of nice going from like the little guys to college and having those higher level conversations. And I am from New Jersey. So
Great. Okay. And you go by Abby. You prefer Abby?
happy. Yep.
Okay, Abby. Thanks. Nice to meet you.
Me too.
Thanks.
Hi, Abby and Professor Taryn. My name is Angie. Well, it's Angelica, but I go by Angie. Nobody calls me Angelica ever. So it's Angie. It's my first semester TAing with campus, but I spent, I want to say, 6 semesters coaching students through accounting courses in undergrad, and then I was a tutor for accounting in grad school. So my degrees are in accounting, but I've obviously taken a bunch of economics courses. I started my PhD in business, so I've taken like those PhD level economics and econometrics as well. I think I said this is my first semester with campus, so Abby, I'll be asking you all my questions. Uh, so I'm excited to get started, and I also have a 5-year-old who's walking in the room right now. One second. So I I get it, Abby. It's cool to like work with the like higher level, conversations and stuff like that. So excited to get started.
Thank you, Angie. Nice to meet you too. And just for formality's sake too, please, by all means, Taryn, or some people call me T. I don't, it doesn't matter to me. So whatever you prefer, Taryn is perfectly fine. And also, I'm aware with little ones too. So if 5-year-old walks in, you'll find that I'm probably going to be the most flexible, reasonable teacher, instructor, whatever that anybody's worked with, because I get it. I've got four in the house. I've got a 10, 8, 3, and a 3-month old. So that's why I'm here right now in the gym, not in the living room. So that's probably a little
Gotta
bit
find a quiet space.
correct. And that's very impossible. This isn't even my gym. This is our clubhouse gym. And this is the one time I know that nobody's here. So this worked out perfectly. Thank you again, both of you. And, Angie, I echo your sentiments. Abby, if you don't mind, I'm probably going to be doing the same. And already you've helped immensely with letting me lean on you for a second here. For example, again, I'm being very open with both of y'all and the rest of the TAs. I'm not going to mention this to the other students, but I am just now today being able to take a look at everything and jump into this and immerse myself with learning this, because I had every intention to do this at the start of the week and I just couldn't, not in the hospital. And so I do have and again, I'm not going to keep you more than 5 more minutes, I promise. But as we're going through this, I have the idea, big picture of how to go forward with lecture slides. And please stop me and correct me if I'm not right, if I'm incorrect on any of this, but this is how I understand it. I understand that on Campus Wire that the class in our case, for this business 130 class for microeconomics goes Mondays and Wednesdays, and I'm to start at 7 Eastern PM to lecture until 8 PM for the first part.
Mhm.
Okay. And then from there, I see that there's different TA hours for discussion posts, which run, I assume, afterwards. Now, one question I had while I'm looking at that on the syllabus, right now the syllabus says, and actually, I'm sorry, this wasn't on the, I pasted this on the syllabus, streamlining it as we're talking. But one thing I noticed from an email that I received, and I just want to make sure this is correct, but it looks like we have Angie, you and Alexis and Theta going at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then Abigail, it looks like you are at 9 p.m. Eastern to start with. Do I have it? Okay. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. So in other words, and Abby, again, you probably help Angie and me here in answering a lot of this. So let me just see if I've got this correct. I'm just in my mind. I know it's synchronous, of course, where everyone's at the same time. So I'm instructing from 7 to 8. We're going through the lecture slides. We may be having some polls or what have you. When 8 o'clock comes and I stop, at that time, here's one question. Maybe you can help answer. I know that each of you have your own auditorium room. How is it designated so that the students meet with each of you in those discussion posts immediately afterwards?
So, well, like I would also just for like your planning purposes, I would try to end at like 7:55. They try to give them like 5 minutes to just like a buffer time to go from
Okay,
lecture to discussion.
good. Okay.
And the way that they know what section to be is it'll say on their calendar who their TA is.
Oh, so it's already pre-assigned for them.
Yep.
Oh,
So they already know there might be some confusion. Usually the first week there is a little bit of confusion.
certainly.
But I'm happy to monitor that as best I can during the first lecture. Because I can usually just go into the grade book, search the name who does like if they don't know where they are, and I can check whose discussion session they are in. So if we have any questions about that the first week, I'm happy to monitor that and kind of look into that as we progress for the first lecture or two.
Okay, great. That makes sense. Thank you.
Mhm.
And yeah, so with for example, the instructor, when let's say 7:55, I'm wrapping up, does the instructor then, is it normal for them to take off and not be involved in the TA discussion post rooms?
Yeah, yep. So once you're in the past, I've had professors, they either hold their office hours right then. So like there's a couple people that will be in our discussion session, so that might not work for you timing wise. Um,
Gotcha.
but
Okay.
sometimes people will do like, oh, like let's say Wednesday after lecture, you might choose to have your office hours in, you might choose to have them another time, but after the lecture is done, like that's it. You don't have to come into our rooms or anything. And then if there's anything that like you need us to communicate with them, you can just let us know on DM or in slides or whatever, and we can let them know.
Great. Great. Okay. Thank you. And again, as I mentioned earlier, Abby, you were helping me with the syllabus. So Angie, I'll catch you up to speed, and the other TAs that are watching the recording. The syllabus that I'm working off on is the one that is on there on the Google Docs. All of you should have access to it because it allowed me to do the email for it, so you can go in and edit your own information. But if it doesn't let you, I was going to tell you, just please send me your information. I'll be happy to plug that in myself. When I looked at that syllabus, it looks like everything is set. Now, and Abby, again, I'm sorry, I keep deferring to you
No,
on.
that's okay. I know it's like the platform can be really tricky to figure out. It took me probably like half a year to figure it out. So
Yeah.
let me know any questions you have, and I can do my best to answer them.
Yeah, because again, yeah, you're right. It's so much to soak in, and I'm trying to get this together now and get a visual of it. So with the discussion post, for example, on my end, I see a folder on Google Docs that has 10 weeks of discussion post forms. So if you don't have access to that, I'm happy to email everyone that or post it to you guys. I went ahead and tested. I don't know if you saw on Campus Wire, just you probably didn't get a chance, but maybe half an hour ago, I uploaded the very first week one discussion post that I was given with the answer key on it. So there's that. So here's a question for that. I saw that it said week one discussion post. Now, is that going to be broken in half for Monday and Wednesday, or how does that look like?
So if is it like the template that they want us to use in our discussion sessions?
Yeah, why don't I show
Take a
you what
look
I'm
at it.
looking at, and I'll take a look and give you
I'm gonna check on my
access.
phone actually too.
So if you can look at my screen, can you see my screen, everybody?
Yep.
Okay, so for example, this is what on my end I see when it says week one TA discussion.
Perfect.
And then these are the questions, and then these it looks like are the answer keys for those.
Okay, yeah. So that's like what we can be using for our discussion sessions.
Gotcha. Okay.
And you can like, I mean, I've seen this a couple times. I don't know, and again, we'll find out more like the first week or so of class.
Okay.
Um, if this is like a first quarter heavy student population, so if there's a lot of students that this is their first quarter with campus, they're going to need a lot of repetition and a lot of guidance.
Okay.
I'm sure you've heard that from like academic operations and everything.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So what I would even feel comfortable like saying go over this stuff in lecture, and I'm sure you will. Like I'm sure the content is centered around this, and then
Right.
we'll just repeat it and like re-study it in our discussions together with them.
And one thing I asked my the colleagues that are teaching this course, because one thing I noticed, I know it's 10, 11 weeks, as you go along. Let me see if I can find it. So for example, here's the lecture notes, right? And so chapter one, you can probably see this now that I'm pulling it up. So I'm assuming this is 30 slides, for example. Now, I'm under the impression that this would be split between Monday and Wednesday, so 15 slides per. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay,
That's what I've seen in the past.
that's what
I
I
know
thought.
like this for this quarter, they've done some revamping of courses.
Yeah.
Um, but I believe that like again, and you might go through some and they might have less slides in it. Um,
Okay, gotcha.
and once you start getting a pace for the class, you'll probably be able to, time it and be like, okay, I can go over chapters 3 and 5, but I can't start 6. Or maybe you have to spend the whole week on chapter 6. It's just going to depend on the content in the slides, but I would say for 30, I think that that's probably
Okay.
like 1 week, 2 sessions.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I looked at it, and that was one of my very first questions and I'm sure they'll get back to me. I was asking the people that kind of went through the training with me, onboarding and everything, because that was one thing I looked at. And that makes sense because there's 11 of them that they gave me. So if there's 11 weeks, theoretically, you would think,
Mhm.
okay. So yeah, that makes perfectly good sense. And then
I
one more
do
thing I'll
think,
add.
though, on that point, that I believe what I read was 10 weeks of instruction and then the 11th week is finals. So I
That
would
makes
just.
a lot of sense. Yes, right.
Mhm.
Yeah, you are correct, Angie. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And especially with tomorrow being the very first class, I don't want to rush into there and just inundate them with a whole bunch of overload. I know that the students on their end are going to be like, "Whoa, this is a lot of information." So I'll try to keep it as basic as possible. So when we're meeting for the first class tomorrow, one thing is I'll tell you both during my training, the person who trained me. He's not really big on breakout rooms for some reason. He was suggesting he thinks it takes a lot of time. He said polls are great, any kind of engagement with students, but that was just the training he gave me. It was like if it was me, he was saying I'd stay away. But again, I'm open to what you all suggest. I'm very much receptive in engaging and open to what.
Yeah, I've used them. It really depends on the group that we get because like I've had groups that are so interactive and like they
Okay.
they love talking to each other and like it really
Right.
helps them. But then I've also had groups before and in the past I've had classes where like they have group assignments, but then
Uh-huh.
they would meet in their breakout rooms and like not talk. So it's
Yeah,
like
and then I think us having discussion sections kind of accomplishes that, right? Like of
Mhm.
them having like the
Oh,
smaller
I was
groups. And
thinking
we
here.
have that functionality too, is to do the breakout sessions. So yeah, I get why I've never been really a fan of of breakout sessions in any school, like on a virtual platform like this. So I do get why he would say that. But again, like I think they get that kind of in the
in
discussion
discussion. Yeah.
section. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. Great. Okay. Well, it looks like we're right at 8 Eastern for both of y'all, right? You're both on Eastern time zone as well. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Well, I will let you go unless there's anything else. Again,
One thing
This was
really quick,
Mhm.
instead of just to make it easier for you, for those the weekly discussion questions, if you just want to share that document with us, that way you don't have
Sure.
to like copy and paste it every week, and then we
Okay, sure. I'd
kind
be
of
happy to. Yeah.
use them for our slides. And Angie, for the first week, I can share the slides that I make with you.
Okay, thank
I
you so
have it.
much.
Yeah, you're welcome. And again, like what you end up doing, your discussion might be a little bit different than mine, just based off of your students' needs.
Yeah.
But at least for the first week, it should be pretty similar. And like we'll just do the syllabus thing, going over expectations. And then with the discussion post, that way we can kind of work ahead and like put the questions in slides or do polls, or like we can plan for breakout rooms if we want to do that in our smaller discussion sessions. Um, One
Yeah.
thing, Taryn, I don't know if you're going to go over this on Monday or tomorrow, for like accepting late work.
Mhm.
What is your opinion or policy on that?
Yeah, good question, Abby. And again, this is probably where I can get some help from you, but I've always been very graceful and merciful. Like when we were going through our training with campus, the guy who was kind of going over it was saying, I think he said take off 10%. Things happen and give them some grace. So I'm totally, as long as it's not something habitual, that it's something where they're abusing the system. But if it's something like 10% off or something reasonable, again, what do you ladies think? I mean,
That's kind of what we've used in the past too.
that's what
Like
I
as
figured.
long as it's not like, we tried to do like and I think this worked pretty well, like everything before the midterm like has to be in before the midterm, and then
That
like
totally makes
everything by the
sense. Yeah.
final, like
Good
every
point. Hmm.
yeah. And then because I mean I've had classes that weren't like that, and then it was like the last week of classes was like 40 assignments from one person, and it was like
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, yeah. And that's what I've learned too. I'm sure you both already are like my method, my philosophy is always be like a strict, hard, instructor at first, say, like, but then it's easier to cut down and allow those allowances rather than the opposite. I never start like a real wimpy and like, oh, it's okay, and then try to get harder. That I've found that doesn't work. I'm sure you can both relate to that. But yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
that totally makes. And you have my full support, obviously. I'm not going to, you'll find I never undermine anyone I work with. So if there's something that you have set and I don't need to cross check or double check it, I'll back you up and stand right there with you and say, yeah, that's correct. So makes it easy.
perfect.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, thank you again, both of you. I really appreciate it. I'm in the chat right now sending you my LinkedIn contact so we can all, I love connecting with other great people like you and having a network together. So I've sent it on the Zoom chat there, but thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. And I'm really looking forward to working with you all too.
Thank you. And I'll add my information in on the Google Doc too for the.
Awesome.
Oh, I did have one question. Abby, do we I was a little confused with our office hour. Do we set a time or do we have them scheduled? And I felt like I heard somebody say you could choose. Like, how does that?
I like historically, if you're sitting in your office, they won't come in.
Okay.
I also try to do more of a schedule. Like I'll have my set office hour, which is like Wednesday to 9 or whatever. And then I'll just say, let me know if you're coming so that I can prepare what to talk about, because sometimes they'll come in and ask all these questions and I'm like, oh, it's going to take a little bit for me I have to reach out to other people and figure this out, or I have to look
Yeah.
in their success coach. So I would recommend just having them let you know before. And I always tell them, like, if you want to meet at another time that's not office hours, just DM me, because everyone's schedule's all over the place. So
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking when I heard the like you can have them schedule thing. I'd rather do that just because my schedule is a little more flexible. Like I
mhm,
can make something work. I've had times where I didn't go to office hours just because it didn't work for me.
yeah,
And so I don't want to like give them that restriction. So yeah, I think I'll do that then. Okay.
yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
easier that way. And then like they kind of have like an expectation that they're going to be there.
Right. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you. I look
Looking
I'll
forward to
forward
share
to
working
those
with you both.
working with
discussion slides.
you.
All right, take care.
Have